These things fit in the hardy hole like a hot dog down a hallway. So we're starting this project with about 10 inches of 1-inch round stock. I was just guesstimating and wanted something that was going to be roughly about this height. I'm not entirely sure how I want to do these. I'm kind of considering a couple different ways of doing this. One is a slit and drift, a hole up here that will hold it in place, get some size on it so that it doesn't fall through the hole. All we're doing on this is sheet metal work, and I don't think we're going to need a whole lot of strength to keep it from falling through the bottom. Okay, I'm going to use my new little piercing eye punch. I'll go ahead and punch a hole somewhere up about here. We can drive it back down into the hardy hole, and that should square it up and create a little bit of a lip for it to catch on. These are effectively finished. I'm not particularly happy with the way the shank part came out. The amount of material that I had upset kind of got flattened out a bit when I punched and drifted the hole. Not terribly surprising, but it does mean that these things fit in the hardy hole like a hot dog down a hallway. I'm going to just weld some material onto the sides of the shank, build them up a little bit so that they fit in there without waggling around quite so much. And we've got one more to make. I've got another chunk of guy wire anchor and a tractor mower shredder blade. And I'm going to cut like an egg shape out of the end of this. And we're going to weld it to the top, make a little bit of a cantilevered kind of stake with a hole in the middle of it, just in case we need something with a hole in the middle of it. So we have two straight stakes. We've got one rectangular one. We've got round profiles on two sides and then square profiles on the other two. That gives us a bunch of different shapes to actually work on. And we've got the other one that's just a round point for a 1-inch radius instead of a 1/2-inch radius. I think that'd be a little bit more useful than going smaller than that. And then we have one avocado stake, areola. They do fit better than they did before. I did go weld up and grind and weld and grind, and it's kind of boring, so I didn't bother really filming. They do fit better. Fortunately, this one's slightly oversized in this anvil, If I got it fitting perfectly, then it wouldn't fit in my other anvil or in my stake plate or anything like that. I think this is going to be fine. It's a fairly simple one this time around. I did end up spending quite a bit of time getting it done, but there's really not a lot to these. Really not a fan of how this came out. I think if I were to do it over again, I would probably upset quite a bit more. Punch and drift this eye. Do that before I size this, because I think that was a mistake. I don't know how many of you have much use for these kind of tools. Sheet metal's kind of always been my jam, so making sculptures and shapes and all that kind of stuff. Building cars, you know. Next week we are on to the stuff I'm doing around the shop, and we get to building a new forge hood. So stick around, I hope you enjoy it.